Enough to come back to discuss the topic today. We will be sharing about common struggles of speakers and coaches. I know a lot of you have fought with a lot of the different aspects of getting your name out there and being able to find clients and different ways to be seen and heard, because at the end of the day, that's how you're able to find clients and find gigs. You have to be able to get out there and you have to be able to be seen, and you don't want to spend all your day doing just that. Isn't that right, Ann?
That's for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, it becomes very complicated. You feel overwhelmed when it's really not all that difficult. It really just takes a few simple tips and tricks that allow you to be able to maximize your time and minimize your effort without feeling overwhelmed at the end of the day. Because as entrepreneurs, as coaches and speakers and everything, it's a difficult gig. What are some of your experiences, Sam, with different coaches and the struggles that they've seen?
Shadow, we all have the same challenges. We really do, regardless of whether you're a coach or a speaker, entrepreneur, business. We all need to be seen. Bottom line is that how do you connect across? And you know what? Here's the thing: we hear this over and over again to the point where we don't even pay attention to it. All things being equal, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. How many times have you heard this?
Uh,
Thousands, right?
yes.
Yeah, I know. We don't even pay attention to it. But here's the thing: if we actually let's just take it apart. For us to be known, people need to know that we exist, right? And so that means we have to show up. We have to show up. Like right now, people know you and I exist because they're seeing us, right? They're watching this. We exist. Okay. That's no, you got to show up. No, like, like is that they need to know something about us. They need to like us. Now, here's the cool thing about it. For people to like us, we just need to share about ourselves. What are we passionate about? What we do like? What do we like? What do we dream of? Why do we want to make a difference? The why aspect of it, right? They need to connect with us, our heart, so they get to like us. Shadow. Yeah, I believe that even if two people don't like each other, if we put them in the same room long enough for them to get out the I don't like you for this, I don't like you for that out of the way. Sooner or later, they're going to get to I like you because we all have the commonality of we all want to be heard, we all want to be understood, we all value our family, we're all looking for love one way or another, right? And so, even if people don't like each other, they're going to find commonality. So, if we share about who we are and why we're passionate about what we do, people are going to like us, right? So, that's the like. The trust. The trust comes in when we share something that's going to add value to their lives. When they're like, "Oh, I tried that and it worked." Like, if somebody's sharing their favorite recipe, right? After you use the recipe, you try it like, "Damn, that tasted good." So next time they give me a recipe, I'm going to try it because what they gave me worked. So think about it now, know, like, and trust. So all things being equal, yes, we do like to do business with people we know, like, and trust. So before we go on to some of the challenges and how we overcome, what do you think of this, Shadow? What are your thoughts on this?
I like you said. You said how many times have I heard that? And I was actually trying to think of an obscene number that would probably be close to the number of times that I've heard that. But once it's explained, it really makes more sense, because when it's so much easier to get a friend who knows you, likes you, and trusts you to engage in a conversation even than it is to walk up to a person on the street and be able to open up the same kind of conversation, because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. Whereas a stranger on the street, on the other hand, is like, what are they really after? What do they really want? What are they like? What's the ulterior motive, or what's the angle? Why are they talking to me, or any number of other different things? So it really is such an important concept, but the execution of it can be difficult. Wouldn't you agree? Like, different ways that you can actually get somebody to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. Now, here's the thing. If we are clear on who we want to support, who we are, what's important to us, and we share that information, then it's not that hard, because somehow the people who resonate with us are going to hear us, right? If they, if somebody likes, let's say you're wearing a cap and you're wearing, I don't know what your t-shirt says, but let's say you have the name of some kind of well, I can't say it, but anyways, so let's say you have the name of a football team that a person likes. Right away they're going to connect with you, as opposed to you have the name of a football team that a person thinks is, no, that's the opposition, that team has to go. Now they're going to not like you. So it just has to, you just have to talk about who you are. And there, so many times I hear people like, well, I want everybody to like me, and I want to help everybody. Bottom line is like, you can't, for one thing. But then, if you don't talk about what's important to you, how are people going to get to like you, right? If they don't like you, they're not going to try what you say. So the trust is not going to work. So bottom line is, just be who you are. Those who are going to like you, they will like you. And it reduces stress, because I don't have to learn to be somebody else. I know how to show up as me, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. So that I know how to be, that I know how to do. So, just like, look at how different we are. And but at the same time, look at how alike we are in our beliefs. So
Absolutely. I can't believe you said that about the sports teams, because at one point somebody gave me a Chicago Bears hat. And being in Washington State, I mean, we're not in Bears territory, but it fit me great. It looked great. And I can't tell you the number of people that ran up and go, "You're a Bears fan." And I'm like, just give me a hat. Like, but you really touched on a point, a really important point, which is being yourself. Over the last year, I spent an obscene amount of time on Clubhouse, and I was very tactical and paying attention to how I approached my presentation and when I'd go into rooms. And the most effective one I found is what I call check your brain at the door. When you stop trying and just be you, it will play better than any amount that you actually try and be like, okay, if I stand like this and like, when you show up as you, which is the easiest way to show up, by the way,
yeah,
then people that understand you, they can actually physically tell that you're real, you're authentic, and you will draw the people to you who are your people, because not everyone's your person. And you need to get over the fact that you think that you need to make everyone like you. It's okay that people don't like you. They can like the person next to you. They're not the ones you're looking for. You're looking for the ones that fit with you, because those are the ones that stay with you. It's, what do they say? You can make all the people happy some of the time, some of the people happy all the time, but not all the people happy all the time. And that's the honest truth. I mean, sure, you can get people to show up who may not like you at first for a second, but they're not the people that stick around and root for you and are in your corner. I mean, as an artist, I definitely understand that one, but the ones that are for you, they don't go anywhere. They really don't.
yeah. No, absolutely. You know what? You just brought up two things. The first one I wanna kind of point out is the importance of being yourself. You and I met on Clubhouse. I saw you in different rooms a few times. I'm like, I really like how he shows up. I like his knowledge. It was all about adding value, and you can tell when people are not authentic. You can tell, because, not for nothing, how much can you pretend to be somebody else? Sooner or later, it's gonna, yeah, sooner or later, it's like, nope, that's not me. The real you is gonna come out. So might as well be you from the beginning. And it doesn't mean, don't put your best foot forward. It means just show up and do your best to show up in your authenticity. Talk about what's important to you, and really share information that's valuable for people, like we're doing right here. Like-minded people will attract. Now, having said that, Let's bring in a little bit of numbers game, right? It's a numbers game. But when you talk about, oh, I want to get in front of so many people, influencers, well, there are influencers who have millions of people following. Let's say 100, let's just keep it. Let's say they have 100,000 following. If it's not the right 100,000, then it's not the right people. The people are not going to respond. And we've seen, Shadow, we've seen some influencers who maybe they have 10,000 following, but when they post something, people respond more than respond to the 100,000. So what makes that happen? It's because they're sharing stuff that's relevant to the people they want to support. It's not rocket science, folks. It's not. Yeah. But hold on, just one more thing. If we apply the Pareto principle, let's say, right? The 80-20 rule. So if we just keep in mind, okay, if I have 100 people who are super interested in what I'm talking about, chances are 20 of them are going to move into action. That's kind of what the Pareto principle says. So if we just focus on inspiring 100 people to take action on something, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely truth, and it's all quality over quantity. I mean, technically, you can go out and buy marketing followers that will be tricked into clicking the follow button to you, but your actionable percentage is going to drop down to less than 1% if they don't like you. They aren't there for you. They're just there because they were tricked at some point into clicking the follow button, and then eventually they're just like, "Well, I'm cleaning out. You go away." But having the group that believe in you, follow you, and are there to hear the value that you present, that's the group that are also the ones who will stand by you and are willing to invest in you because they believe in you and what you do and what you present. And it doesn't matter if you have 5 followers versus 50,000. If 4 out of 5 will show up 9 out of 10 times, and the other ones are just marketing leads that were somehow tricked into following you, the 5 are worth way more value than the 50, for
Yeah.
sure. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely. So we got the no and we got the like covered. And so the trust, what to share with people so they do trust you. Now, it needs to be something that's easily applicable. And if it's not easy, they're not going to do it. If it's not easy, if it doesn't make sense, they're not going to remember it either, right? So when we're training people to be interviewed on network TV, a lot of it is focused on, I mean, this is traditional marketing. It's about educating people on being better educated consumers. It's that simple, right? So what can you share with your people so that they're not making mistakes? So what are some of the common mistakes people make, or what are some of the things they should know when it comes to buying your kinds of products and services? So if you're a coach, what are some of the questions they should be asking to make sure they're choosing the right coach for what they need? If you're a speaker, what are some of the things they should be asking to make sure you're the right speaker for their audience? Why is this important? Well, for one thing, if they're choosing you as the right speaker for their audience, that's good for both of you. The audience is going to get nourished with information, and you're going to get better leads for people who want to be supported by you ongoing, right? So it's good. It's good for each one. So content where you educate, like we're doing right now, right? Educate, educate, educate. And yeah, so what are some of the mistakes people make, and what are some of the things they should know? So
for one of the things of the mistakes that they make is not knowing their audience.
yeah,
They try to do everything for everyone instead of just doing their secret tips and tricks. Because if you're drawing people to you that know, like, and trust you, it's because you have that commonality within you. So what are some of the things that you have found personally in your field? If you're a coach, like, what are some of those little secret hidden gems that you discovered. You may not have even learned from somebody, so they're not common knowledge, and it's not like everybody in the world can Google it and figure it out. I mean, heck, like when I work on a car, I can tell you about 100,000 little tips and tricks, depending on what I'm working on, that I figured out the hard way. They were things that I discovered along the way that save time, money, and energy, and really make sense once they're presented right. And these are the kinds of things that people go, you know what, that does make sense. That does absolutely, yeah, I'm going to try that. And when they try it and it works because it works, you've done it, and you know what you're talking about, then they go, you know what, that was a really great thing. And it literally imprints in their brain you and what you gave them. Oh man, I remember I learned this thing from such and such over here on Clubhouse over the last year. And for those of you who don't know who Clubhouse is, I know we've referenced it a couple times. It is a new type of social media that's all audio, and it has some of the most incredible people ever I've seen on that platform. I got to meet Ann over here, and
Yeah.
tons of others, and there's so many great people. But I was fascinated by the psychology of the platform, which was once you took away the visual, it's all audio, and you rely strictly on the voice. There's a biological reaction that you can tell if somebody's full of it in about 3 minutes. 3 minute? No, literally. I literally timed it,
Yeah.
and I would listen to people, and I'd be like, no, something feels off. It takes about 3 minutes, and you're like, no, this person's authentic, this person's not, but it's able to actually transmit emotion through voice because it's been our communication for, well, ever. But I've watched coaches and speakers and everything on there, and the ones that were hands down the most effective did what I just said. They came in, they told their story, and then they were just giving little insider tips, like some really big ones even, because then they're like, you know what? This guy really just did me a huge favor. I need to work with him.
Yeah.
I need, if he's just willing to give without expectation, just because he's on there and he wants to help people out, if you lead by giving, those are the people that not only are willing to show up for you, those are the ones who don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And, having that return clientele is really, really important. I mean, heck, I hired my business coach off of there, and I watched him for quite a while before I hired him because I was watching how he interacted, how he did things. Because, sometimes when you hire a business coach, I mean, it gets expensive quick,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's worth it. Especially if you find somebody who has the knowledge you need, has the ability, has the capacity to better your business. It's a drop in the bucket versus what you'll actually end up making off of it. And he's fantastic. I mean, I love him to death. But I was able to get to know, like, and trust him, and then I had no problem paying out money to hire him for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point. People do look to connect, and like you said, it takes time. I know for me, I have actually connected with some fabulous collaborative partners like you, because I keep seeing them in there. And I'm always, who else does my client need to be supported by to be successful? As wonderful as we may be, as knowledgeable as we may be, we don't know everything, or we don't want to do some of the things that our clients need. So then it's our job to bring in people that will resonate with us, because if they resonate with us, then they're going to resonate with our clients as well. Okay, so this is really important. And now the other thing that you brought up, it's really important to like you brought up the example of a car. So if you're a mechanic, give tips on a car. But if you're not, then don't, because people are going to come to you who want to know how to fix a car, right? You know, and Shadow is like, if you've been following him, which I expect you are, he's a fabulous tattoo artist. Now, I didn't know Shadow was a tattoo artist. I did not follow him on social media because I don't have tattoos. My daughter loves tattoos, but I don't have that. So I wouldn't be following him. So the reason I started connecting with Shadow is because he was talking about broadcasting to 40 different platforms. I'm like, oh, I need to know that. My people need him, right? So I'm like, Shadow, let's talk. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. And the other thing too is that if you're going to be sharing stories, some of the most powerful stories for your clients is one is, why do you do what you do, things about you, but the stories that really tell people what you're passionate about and how you support people are the stories about other people, about your clients. And so when you say, well, Sue was having a problem with getting on social media, she was scared to get on camera. And so, and then the technology was a problem. Then I can say, well, when Shadow and I started sharing our information with Sue, now she loves to get on camera because she figured out how to get the camera to love her. And there is a whole mindset shift. But then she had to have the technology, which was a lot simpler than she thought because she's a total technophobe, right? And it was like, okay, you just got to get on like you get on Zoom, and we're using Restream. It works similarly, and that, oh, I can do that, and that's the thing, can I do that? So sharing stories about other people, and now those of you who are scared to get on camera, and those of you who are technophobe, well, I expect most of you are not. Okay, because you're watching this, your speakers and coaches, so your own technology all the time, your own Zoom all the time, and you're sharing your story, you're in front of audiences. But I was actually just giving you an example of how you can use the stories of the clients that you have featuring, I guess, the most sought after information or the biggest challenges they have, what's going to get them over that little hump that they're sitting on. So anyways, that's kind of what this is about. So right back to you there, Shadow.
When you talk about technophobes, and as somebody who's into tech, it's really interesting to me to see how many people won't even try. Like
Yeah.
they like I've walked a few people through things that were incredibly hesitant, even though they were massively simple things. And I just was patient and slow. And once they actually tried it, they're like, "Wait, that's it." I was scared of that. I'm like, yeah, And but once you're able to get over the hump and just understand that, yes, there is some very very complicated tech out there, but not all tech is very, very complicated. People are constantly trying to make it more and more simple so that it doesn't overwhelm people. I mean, you heard the story about how the iPad came out before the iPod, but during consumer testing, they realized it was too much for the average consumer to be able to feel comfortable with. So they reduced it down to the iPod or the iPod instead of the iPad.
Yeah.
And people were like, all right, I'm willing to go that far. But I mean, that's you have to be able to deal with the psychology of people when you're trying to get them to the place that you want them to be. You have to be able to get them comfortable. And a lot of times the easiest way to do that is to build that relationship. And being present a lot is a great way to make sure that these people not only remember you, that they feel value from you, and they like you.
Yes.
Because if you see somebody live and it makes no impression, you watch 5 of them and it makes no impression, they're not showing up for 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to spend their time. They're going to see it, wait 3 seconds and flip. Wait 3 seconds and flip. I mean, but when they like you, they stay.
Yeah.
And they're willing to invest the time in listening to you because they get value out of you. And it's really, I always say to lead with value. At the end of the day, when you lead with value, that's where you're going to get the true customers that win the day every single time. And there's so many simple ways that you can do it with posts and with, I mean, you can literally address one single tip and turn it into 2 weeks of posts to get people to show up every single day to look at that post to see the next part of it. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Stay tuned for tomorrow. And that way you can maximize your knowledge base while still being able to get people to continue to show up for the same thing. And live video is a great way too because they can actually see you, they can hear you.
Mhm.
Platforms like Clubhouse are incredible because they can hear if you're full of crap or not. And like you actually said, it's okay to say, I don't know. As a matter of fact, it's great to say, I don't know. I mean, there was a software company I tried to hire, and we went back and forth back like two, three times, and they came back and goes, look, my team says that they think they could pull it off, but I don't want to do on a possible. So instead of wasting your time, I'm just going to pass on this project because I want to make sure you get the most value out of everything. Guess what? I'm hiring him for another project because he said that.
Trust.
Yeah. If he's
Trust.
willing to
Yeah,
stand up and just say, you know what, I'm not taking your money on a maybe, I feel more comfortable if, you go find the right person for you
mhm,
for that specific thing. People remember that because people don't do that. And people who are not being honest and upfront are never going to say, yeah, go find somebody else around the corner that can do it, even though we may be able to pull it off. So,
exactly. Exactly. When you keep the promise, promise is the result people are coming to you for. When you keep that up front as your primary, then you'll never fail because you will deliver the promise as you promised, right? Now here's the other thing too, right? The Keep it simple is really important because anybody can complicate the heck out of everything, but try to simplify it, that's a challenge. Seriously, we can talk for half an hour, but to give enough information in 3 minutes, that's a challenge. So simplify things to their essence. Now, here's the other thing I think is super important. There are always two kinds of people watching. One are those who really don't know and they want to learn. So if you keep it simple, you keep it straightforward and empower them, make them feel like, yes, you can do this. And here's how you do it: one, two, three. Those are the people that are going to feel confident. They're going to feel empowered. They're going to be willing to try. Now, here's the other kind of person who's watching: the person who already knows how to do what it is that you're telling them to do. They just don't want to do it themselves. If you explain in a way that they can say, yep, he knows, yep, she knows, it's going to build trust. It's just like the person, like you brought up the mechanic. Like you know how to fix a car. When you go to a mechanic, you say, well, "Tell me what's wrong with my car." If you know right away if they're trying to take you, if you know what's wrong with your car, you know if they're honest, if
oh,
you
yeah.
know exactly what's wrong with it. So a lot of people do that. So those are the two kinds of people that are watching. Keep it simple, break it down, and if it's something complex, there are 10 steps. Like Shadow was saying, step one day, step two the next day, step three, people are going to keep coming back. But also, it's going to give them the opportunity to implement step one, implement step two. Little by little, we can do anything, a brick at a time, as they say, right? So, anyways, so we've been at this for a while now, Shadow. What else do we want to share, or do we want to wrap it up?
We can wrap it up, but I just want to end with reiterating the fact that your authentic self, your true knowledge, your true experience will win you every single time, and it will take you further than you could ever dream of. Especially if you're willing to try. So you will be astounded what doors will open for you if you make the phone calls, if you actually reach out to things that you may believe are outside the realm of possibility. They are completely possible. You just have to try. I mean, I got to go on tour with the cast of Walking Dead because I literally asked a place if they had a spot for a guest spot that I thought was like a top spot. And that was what became of it because I was willing to give it a shot. I mean, what are they going to do? Say no? Who cares? So,
Well, we
you know,
can't. We don't want to be told no, but you know what? You'll get over it. You're not going to die because somebody said no. So
yeah,
don't let the possibility of a no stop you from a yes.
No, yeah, no, definitely not. That just means you're one step closer to a yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta take 10 steps to get your yes. So what? That's 10 phone calls. How long does that take? You know, but that's how you can change your life. And absolutely, it's incredible to once you see how simple and easy it is, and it's the fear of technology staring in your face you didn't realize was as simple as it was. So
So stick with us. We'll be bringing you a lot more information, like how to put together your story, how to tell somebody else's story, and what to use. Like one of the challenges people have is broadcasting on Instagram. It just doesn't look right. Well, guess what? Shadow showed me how to do it on Instagram. And what does it take? Well, it's a special additional tool that you need. So you want to know what it is? Hang with us and just be sure to keep coming back. We're here every week, and we're going to be doing a lot more, by the way. So just make sure that you're following both of us wherever you are, whether you're LinkedIn or I don't know how many places are you broadcasting right now, Shadow. I know
no,
I'm
no,
broadcasting on
16 or
four.
something. I think I'm at
16.
16 different platforms. So
Well, I'm focused. I'm focused on four because that's about all I can actually follow up with. So, anyway, so you guys, and I'm going to hand it back over to you, Shadow, as we kind of wrap it up.
all right, guys. So I really appreciate everybody that showed up and listened to us today. If you guys have any other questions about anything, we're here to actually give value, and we not only have a master class that we have posted at Access to Experts webpage, correct, Ann? Yes,
Access,
I
yeah, accesstoexperts.com
dot
and then
com.
.com// master classes.
There you
And you'll get
go.
there. You'll get there. You'll see the master class we have on lights, camera, interview. It's a free master class for you where we talk about how to set up your home studio. We talk about how to make the camera love you. And we also talk about technology. Yep. Shadow shares a whole bunch of stuff on what to use, and everything you need is there. So a lot of great content. So we'd love to have you join us and just go to the masterclass and just keep joining our lives and comment and share, right?
Yeah,
Comment and share there.
absolutely, for sure. And we're gonna keep showing up and giving as much value as possible because we want you guys to succeed. At the end of the day, like that's how we get our value is by making sure that you guys get what you need to be able to chase your dreams. We just want to see everyone succeed. So, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Ann, thank you so much for joining us or joining me, and always a pleasure. I love you to death, always. And we will, I guess, see you here soon.
Yeah, right back at you, Shadow. I just love doing this because we just have fun.
Yeah.
Love your brilliance. Love the way we just it's just, I like that we're both so focused on really making a difference and just being ourselves,
Yeah,
like just, this is it, the good, bad, the ugly, and the beautiful, right? As they say, right?
very true. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys here soon, and y'all have a blessed day.